Hello and welcome to another Content Corner. Thank you very much for joining me. My name's Andy from Global E-Commerce Experts, and we're here to successfully expand you, an e-commerce seller, into the EU. So thank you very much for joining me. Today is another one of our Content Corners, and today what we're going to talk about is FBA, MFN, and how that all stacks up leading into Q4. Because, if you've been an e-commerce seller for a long time, or recently, really, you'll know that Q4 is mad. Okay, and Q4 is the busiest time of year. It goes crazy, and whilst we're now coming into December is now the month where you need to pay particular attention to certain things. Amazon made an announcement just a few days ago. I'm going to read it if that's okay, just so because that's easier for me, right? So during this holiday season, we want to thank you for your continued partnership and help you ensure successful deliveries that meet your customers' expectations. Now, I understand this, and this isn't what they're saying now, is both two ways, both your goods going into FBA and your goods leaving FBA to your customer. So we understand that in addition to the demands you typically face during this season, you may also be facing challenges due to the pandemic. So far, our fulfillment network is performing well, and we want to assure you that we are continuing to invest in improvements to support you. This year, we made investments into increased capacity in our fulfillment by Amazon network and secure space for your inbound orders during a time of peak demand. We are monitoring conditions in our fulfillment centers to make sure we efficiently and safely accept your orders and deliver them quickly. And we notify you if conditions change. Now, there's a few things. So first of all, Amazon is saying that they're performing. Now, the feedback we are getting from sellers is that goods going into Amazon are relatively slow, but goods to your clients, your customers, are going out as usual. So there's no delay in them getting stuff for the next day. If you're sending stuff into Amazon, you need to allow time for that. What they've said is they've made more allowance. What they've not said is they're going to increase your IPI index so that you can send more in. So what you can send in is going to be based on your IPI, and that whole thing of, how much can I send in? Can I send this? Can I send that? And not getting a true answer. So I think that's really, really clear. You need to do that. Now, before we get to Amazon, you need to get your stock into the country. Last week, there was a thing in the UK press where they talked about Felixstowe, which is, there's two main ports for goods coming in from China. There's Southampton, which is 5 minutes from here, and there's Felixstowe, which is near where I get the ferry from to go to Holland, right? So it's sort of on the east coast. Now, there was a ferry, a container ship that was held out in the bay in the North Sea for 10 days because they couldn't get into Felixstowe. So there are delays getting stock in, and that's from a few compound effects. So those compound effects are COVID, they are Brexit, they are the amount of sellers that happen from Chinese New Year and getting stock out. It's a whole catalogue of everything being culminated and getting stock here. So it really is difficult to get stock into the country and therefore to FBA at certain times. If you've not arranged shipments for your stock now, you're going to be touch and go whether you get it here. All right, you really need to think about whether you get that here. Now, coming on to merchant fulfilled, if you've got another 3PL facility that you can use, so we would typically recommend that what you do is you ship through FBA, you keep doing with FBA, but you have a few SKUs that you use at another 3PL provider. Obviously, we'd love you to use us, but other providers are available. And that way you can get seller fulfilled prime in a warehouse. What it means is that if there was any difficulty getting shipments into Amazon or Amazon shipments out, you've always got an alternative route. You need to make sure that your 3PL can look after your stock, can fulfill your stock, and they've got enough resource and capacity to deal with that. Now, it comes to Q4. For us, it's a slight lottery. We never know how much our sellers are going to sell. We never know exactly how much stock they're going to bring in. It is a complete lottery. We've got some pretty good guidance. We know what they did last year. We know what we're going to do this year. So therefore, we'll be able to predict next year. We've got that capacity to be able to do that with best guesses. But, you've also need people and partners you can trust. You can rely, for us, our clients know they can rely on us to get the job done. Now, for example, we've needed some additional pallet storage. No getting away from that. So we're very fortunate that we've got some warehouses next door to us in the vicinity where actually we're partners of ours, we sort of trust them. We've actually stored a few pallets in a couple of those other units, because we just make stuff happen. All right. We knew that we'd probably need an extra 100 bays. We've made those 100 bays. Literally, you can use a pump truck to take it to our neighbor. That is simple, it's easy. And we only do that with stock that's long-term storage. So anything that moves quickly, we can't do that with. But you need to work with your provider to make sure you can do that. Now, obviously, that's not ideal, but it just gives you an insight to us being able to make stuff happen. All right. So you need to think about your deliveries, bringing goods into the country, whether they're going to get held up at FBA, whether they're going to get into FBA, and whether you need a merchant fulfilled as well. Anyway, hopefully that's been super useful. I think I've gone on slightly longer than I would do normally, but hopefully that's been a great content corner, something you can take away and utilize. If you've obviously need any questions, you need to understand how this or that happens here in the EU, obviously reach out to us. We've got a dedicated team who will look after you and support you and answer any questions you need. Obviously, you can do that on the post underneath, wherever you might be listening to this. But my name's Andy from Global E-Commerce Experts, and we're here to successfully expand you into the EU. Thanks very much for your time.